Well, a very good evening, DirtFish Rally friends. End of day one here at Rally Sweden. And look, Barry, the biggest surprise of the day is what's happening right now.
It's wonderful though, isn't it?
It
I'm
really
enjoying this. It's the worst thing possible for certain drivers, but great to see it. We haven't seen snow all weekend.
You are a Rally Sweden newbie and you've seen some wonderful conditions out in the stages today, but this is your first sighting of proper snow.
It is. You're acting like I've never seen snow in my life, which isn't strictly true.
He's
But
a Scotsman.
Swedish snow. Swedish snow's more special.
Yeah, it really is special. And listen, what we saw out in the stages today was very, very special. There was a lot of uncertainty, wasn't there? We had new stages. More importantly, we had the new hand-cooked tyres. We didn't know what to expect, Luke. We didn't know where the best position on the road might be. We didn't know really who had an advantage out there. At the end of the day, it looks as if really no one had an advantage. What a day's rallying we have seen.
Epic is the best word for it. Such a close battle. 5 cars separated by just 9 seconds. Elfyn Evans leads by 6/10 over Takamoto Katsuta. Oyt Tanak just 2.5 seconds behind as well. And then FOMO 4th, Neuville 5th. So it's anybody's game.
It's anybody's game. Let's talk a little bit about Elfyn Evans, though, because we've seen in the past with Sebastian Ogier, with Sebastian Loeb, drivers who have done well at Monte Carlo generally struggle here in Sweden because first on the roads, normally it's not the place to be. Yes, Evans had a good road position this morning, as it turned out, but he also adapted to those tyres really quickly.
He did. We always say this, but you can have an advantage, but you have to be able to use that advantage. And he has. He's looked just comfortable. It's looked easy for him almost. And it's really great to see because we haven't actually seen that so much from Evans in the last couple of years, but something seems different about him this year, and it's continued here today.
I would totally agree with that. He looks a more relaxed driver, and sometimes that's all it takes. We've seen him struggling with this Rally 1 car. He looks relaxed this year, and he's enjoying it. You did a great job out there today.
Yeah, I think in fairness, the condition has sort of helped us with that. I mean, looking into the weekend, we knew that at least the penalty should be less than what we've seen in previous years. Obviously, we ended up first on the road for a lot of it last year, and it was a complete disaster, like 30 seconds a stage or something. So compared to the potential that it can turn into like a proper mess if there's a lot of snow, I think we have to count ourselves lucky with the conditions. But yeah, we've managed to find our way through it okay, obviously.
Hey everyone, I'm Eric, senior instructor here at DirtFish. Welcome to Ice Driving USA. We're here to get you sideways on the ice. Are we talking or are we driving? You'll start your day here on the lake in Wisconsin. First, we'll have you on the slalom course to give you a better understanding of how weight transfer works on the ice. But we're really here for linking corners and getting sideways on some longer courses. Power, check. Grip, double check. All-wheel drive, studded tires, great hospitality, and one amazing frozen lake for a playground. And getting here couldn't be easier. The nearest airport is just 30 minutes away, and we have 1 or 2 day courses available, including an all-women's class. So what are you waiting for? Come join us, and we'll see you on the ice.
Another driver who perhaps wasn't quite so relaxed at the start of the day, but I'm sure he is at the end of the day, is Takamoto Katsuta. It's been a tremendous day for Toyota in some ways, hasn't it? We'll come on to the third driver later on, but, Elfyn at the front, Takamoto just behind. I think it's, again, we saw it in Japan, it's difficult to underestimate how much pressure he's under, and he's performed.
He has. We know he's got speed in Sweden. We've seen it in the last couple of years, but we've also seen some mistakes creeping into both of those drives. So I think that's going to be the big question for him tomorrow, is making sure he doesn't do anything daft. But on today alone, to be where he is, and to admit that he wasn't even at full capacity in terms of his pace is really encouraging.
Yeah, you talked to Jari Matti, didn't you? And he said something. You asked him a really good question about, will you remind your drivers of their responsibilities tomorrow? We know they don't have team orders here at Toyota. He said, no, but I might have a little word. I might have a little word with Takamoto Katsuta. That makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. Because, Taka will know anyway. He's aware of the situation he's in. He's a manufacturer, registered driver, so there's that to think about as well. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how that shakes out tomorrow.
Tell us about the next 2 drivers then, because again, it's actually the next 3. We have 5 within 10 seconds of the lead. Go down the next 3 for us.
So Oyt Tanak is in 3rd, ahead of his 2 other teammates, Adrian FOMO and Thierry Neuville. Tanak's been the one that's been, I guess, closest to the lead. He's held the lead at points mistakes throughout today. Formul's been there, constantly knocking on the door, but I guess a slight mistake breaking into a junction where he stalled the cars, hurt him back. Neuville, though, fight back king today. He was difficult in the morning, struggling with the car in terms of understeer, but over the course of the afternoon he's propelled himself right back into it.
He was 20 seconds down at lunchtime. He ends the day under 10 seconds off the lead. You know, we've seen this new Hyundai out there today. I think it's difficult to judge where it's at. You know, where it's at, the judgment will be in how comfortable the drivers feel with that car and how much consistency they find in that car. In Adrian Formeau, he ain't changing anything tomorrow. He's found a sweet spot in that car. It's fair to say that Tanak is, I think, getting towards it. The one who struggled, as you rightly say, was Thierry Neuville.
You had a bit of an exciting moment at a square left junction on, I think, the second last stage as well. Talk us through that.
Yeah, obviously there was a bit too much speed in the end. I think we had like 30-40 kph too much basically, and we hit the bank sideways. But I mean, no harm done, and more or less no time loss, so it was all good.
You'll be the last of the Rally 1 cars to start tomorrow's stages. Will that be the best place to be?
Yeah, probably in the morning the worst place, afternoon hopefully the best place. So let's see. At least on the recce it looked very icy, and we've seen today that opening the road on the ice is actually very good. So that's where the grip is. But let's see. It's still 2 loops, so it can change.
You're only 9 seconds off of the lead, but you've still got 4 cars starting behind you in the running order tomorrow. Is that going to hurt you, do you think, against your rivals?
I don't know. We have to see. I heard that it could be a little bit of snow during the night in the stages. I don't think it will be a lot, but we have seen over the last days always a few snowflakes coming down. So will it affect the road conditions? And if how much, I don't know. But 7th actually on the road tomorrow shouldn't be too bad.
What's the plan? Are we going to take risks?
Risk? I don't want to take a risk. No, I want to have a clean run. Probably trust myself and follow the feeling.
What do you reckon? What will Cyril Abiteboul, who's just at the end up here, what will he be saying this evening? Will he be happy, do you think?
That's a good question. I think he has to be, because he's got 3 drivers all within 10 seconds of the lead. Obviously, he'd rather be 1 and 2, but it's Friday. There's 2 days of rallying still to go. So to be having them all in there in the fight is exactly what he will want. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of who gets ahead and what may or may not be said over the end of the rally, depending on where they all are. But maybe I'm being a little bit too much of a sort of conspiracy theorist there, but we'll see.
Oh, maybe. And don't forget, folks, road position was decided after the penultimate stage this evening. So if you see things that look a little odd for road position tomorrow, that is why. It was decided the final stage was a super special stage, which meant it was the final special stage that dictated road order. And with the snow coming down, Luke, it could have a big say in things tomorrow.
It could. I guess it's the point that Taka made to us, is that all these guys in that lead fight are all roughly, I'm going to say roughly, obviously there's 5 of them, but more or less in the same place. It's not one up the front, one up the back, but it changed the dynamic. We're all sat here thinking that first will be the best place to be tomorrow, but if enough of this lies, and we're seeing how quickly it's going,
enough already.
It is.
That's enough to change
that will
it.
make a difference.
It really will. Now, there's one Toyota driver we haven't talked about. Let's talk briefly about Kalle Rovanperä. You know, he was uncomfortable in Monte Carlo. We all kind of excused that and said he never likes Monte Carlo. It's not his favourite rally. Wait till he gets to Sweden. Wasn't much of an improvement. He is struggling with these handcooks. The handcooks haven't been bad. It's fair to say they've been quite impressive today. Stud retention's been good, but there's a different feeling to driving on those tyres. 1 or 2 drivers struggling to adapt. Maybe the biggest, highest profile driver is Rovanperä.
He has to be. But it's bizarre. As much as we saw it in Monte Carlo, as you said, and as you rightly said as well, that was a rally where you can maybe write off excuses for it. It's far more surprising to see it here in Sweden. To his credit, he's got better as the afternoon's gone on. He's moved the car setup more towards something that works for him. But yeah, it's weird to see Rovanperä be where he is.
Really weird.
What better feeling do you need? What is it that you're looking for from the car that you're not quite getting yet?
I think just overall the balance, like trusting the front more and not having the understeer, which I'm fighting quite a lot. So for me, I'm always really sensitive to understeer, and yeah, with this tire, it's quite easily the case.
But it must be really difficult to be going through all these fast corners if you don't feel like you've got the front with you. Actually committing to that stuff can't be easy.
Exactly, that's one of the worst rallies to feel this way, because we have a lot of long corners also, even medium speed long corners. If you need to fight with the car all the time, you lose time. So yeah, it's not the best situation.
Let's talk a little bit about our M Sport drivers, because it was an impressive day, I think, from 2 out of the 3 M Sport, and well, 2 out of the 4. We have to include Jordan Serdaridis, but your Martin Sesks returning has had a great day. He set some really strong times out there. Josh McAlane has continued to show progress, and again he's had 1 or 2 very strong stage times. I guess maybe Munster might be a little disappointed. He was quite a long way up the pace of those 2 in front, but for the M Sport youngsters, a lot to be positive about at the end of today.
Completely, and maybe it's unfair to say that I'm more impressed by Josh given he's behind Martins, but I think the expectation of Sesk has been higher, and the pace hike from Monty to Sweden from McAlane has been genuinely impressive. There was a stage where he beat Rovanperä, and I know we said he's struggling, but to beat the 2-time world champion, his position was impressive, so well done to him and to Martin Sesk.
Martin Sesk for me was the pick of the crop in M Sport. But yes, I like the look of Josh, and I like his discipline more than anything. He can go quicker, there's no question about that. He can go quicker, but he's building his pace. He's got a really intelligent head on those shoulders, and I'm liking the look of him. One of the drivers we haven't talked about, another one of these Toyota drivers here, Sami Pajari. Bit of bad luck out there for Pajari. It was a real shame. It happened in the first stage of the morning, went a little bit wide, fractionally wide, smacked the rear left, knocked the tyre off the rim, and it knocked all of the fight out of Sami Pajari. Difficult to find the motivation after that.
Completely, and frustrating, because we've seen how good his pace has been since that moment. Obviously things happen in rallying, you can't go through an event and just think what if, but on the first proper stage for it to happen was a bit of a sucker punch. But really, as I say, it's a thing to learn, isn't it? It's maybe how hard was that Stowbank? We've seen plenty of them with the deep freeze we've had. They're all very solid, so it's the sort of thing you'd think you'd get away with, but potentially it's just going a little bit too fast for that course.
Maybe a little bit too quick. There we are. So that is our WRC Rally 1 field. WRC, that takes us back a few years. What do we call it? It's just Rally 1, isn't it, these days?
Yeah.
Our Rally 1 field. A remarkable day of competition out there. What can we expect tomorrow, folks? Well, let's wait and see what this weather does tomorrow. We're expecting temperatures overnight of minus 15, minus 16 degrees. So when the snow stops, it'll freeze. That may change things. 5 drivers, under 10 seconds separating them. By the way, folks, don't forget, what is DirtFish all about? DirtFish is a rally school. If you want to learn to drive a car in these conditions, we're running a winter rally school this year in Wisconsin. Have a look on our website for details of that, because I tell you what, it's a lot of fun driving in the snow when you know what you're doing. Dirtfish.com, have a look, folks. Tomorrow, what's your prediction?
Big question to ask me on the spot. I would say we're going to have another
I always ask you a question like that.
You do, but it was very I don't know, it caught me out. Maybe that's my fault. I think we're going to have another really interesting day. Who I think is going to be ahead, I really don't know. But I think Thierry Neuville is the dark horse. We generally see that he gets better as rallies progress. So can he get even better and get himself properly in that fight? I guess we'll see.
I'm sure he can. Listen, we had a wonderful day of rallying today. There were no big dramas out there. I think we may well see 1 or 2 big moments out there tomorrow. It's set to be an incredible day. We hear the conditions in the stages are almost perfect. Let us know what your thoughts are at the end of what has been a magnificent day here. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Let us know in the comments below. A big day to come tomorrow, folks. Thanks for joining us on day 1 of Rally Sweden.